Oh, wait. Wait, I got dropped.
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah, you get dropped.
I'll add you right now. Internet used to work so well.
I feel like Brad should be sitting on my lap so we can get him in here on this.
Yeah.
I can move you like a puppet. I'll just like scratch your back when you're supposed to move your mouth.
That's terrifying.
I wasn't thinking of backtracking on that one.
You could put a
I
stick.
was being totally PG about it.
You could put a stick to my arm so you can like.
So I can move it.
Okay. Did you get something, Sarah?
No, I got dropped.
That's our next cosplay agenda.
My network connectivity
Right.
said fuck you.
See,
One
me
more
puppet you're
time.
fine with. Other puppet you're not very fine with.
Yeah,
Apparently,
a Brad
okay.
puppet is
Totally okay.
like I'm down with a Brad puppet.
All
Any
right,
other
okay.
kind of freaking puppet, absolutely.
Yay.
What?
Wait, you're out again.
Uh-oh. Maybe might not have the bandwidth for it.
No, wait, we're good.
You're good? Okay.
I think we got this.
Sarah Babe is in the video call. Yay!
Wait, am I here? Am I here? Okay.
I see you on my screen.
I just see your Sailor Moon chair.
Okay. Chris, you good? Pardon me. I could have used that to sync things.
We're getting an
Okay.
echo on someone's phone. Can you hear it?
Oh,
Yes. yes.
Sorry,
Chris,
it's telling me.
Mute everything and we're fine.
all right, there we go.
Should be muted.
Okay. All right. Ready?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Okay, I'm going to clap 3 times. No, wait, hang on. I have to mute my thing again. Sorry.
Is that you or me?
That was me. Okay, done. I'm going to clap 3 times, and then we'll go into the... I just need a visual and an audio cue for when I sync the audio and visual tracks.
So it's like a punk rock band. 1, 2, 3,
1,
4.
2, 3, 4.
Kind of, but I'll see the 3 spikes in the audio track, and then I can sync the 3 spikes to the video of me clapping.
Good call.
That makes sense, Chris?
Knock
Okay,
3 times
so-
on the ceiling if you love me.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, small children, and gifted woodland animals, welcome to Plot Points! I'm Ben Riggs,
I'm Brad Davies.
I'm Sarah Babe.
and we have someone else here with us today.
I'm Ryan Smith.
Yay!
Hi, Ryan. Thank you for joining us. And we are here today to discuss an article that appeared on the Daily Dot about Cards Against Humanity. And to
Oh, yeah.
summarize the article essentially says that Cards Against Humanity is so offensive and such a bastion of, I guess, white privilege, for lack of a better way of
Oh,
putting
that
it.
one!
Yeah.
I remember reading that article. Sorry, I
It's okay.
didn't realize that was what it was called. I just remember seeing it. So, okay, good deal. I'm ahead of the curve.
So,
Anyways,
I'd just like
spoke
to
your
say
thought.
I've been hating Cards Against Humanity since before it was cool.
Just put your bias out there.
Just want to,
You
yeah,
just
I fucking
wear it
hate
on
the
your
game.
sleeve.
I know. There's,
Oh, we just totally preempted Ben here. He totally had
no,
something.
but,
Ben, go back to the intro. We totally like. Okay.
to finish the summary, the article essentially says that because Cards Against Humanity is designed largely by whites, largely by men, and clearly makes fun of minorities and women, that it in some ways is offensive, evil, and shouldn't be played. And evil, I guess, is stronger than that person would go. And it is a weird article because the title is Why I Quit Playing Cards Against Humanity, and then in the article it never says, oh, I quit playing Cards Against Humanity. It just basically lays out
Maybe
this
they're like
argument for-
closet Cards Against
Yeah.
Humanity players or something.
well, the
So,
person in the game makes a really good point that was it a guy or a girl that wrote it? I don't think it matters.
It
Whatever.
was, hang on, I'll look it up right here. It was an indeterminate gender name.
Okay, so I mean, the person had played like 30 plus times or something like that, and
Aya Saxena.
okay, it honestly feels like they got bored with it, so they decided to stop playing. Because you honestly don't play a game that much unless you like it, and they obviously did. Like me, I've only played this game like 2.5 times, and the halftime is everybody else was drunk and somebody had to go do something, so I ended up taking over their cards. Because that's how this happens with this game. I've never played it where there hasn't been alcohol involved. And I just have so many fucking problems with the game.
For a lot of people, I think 3 times is about the threshold, because then you start seeing the cards replay over and over and over again, and you can only play, fiery poops so many times.
Well, honestly, the shock value wears off.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
There's only so many times you can joke about Michael Jackson being a pedophile with Mecha Hitler. Like, it just...
Mecha Hitler.
Oh, God.
So why do you hate the game?
I liked it better when it was called Apples to Apples.
So you're going to say it's unoriginal.
Yep.
Okay.
Ooh, even derivative?
I don't.
The big D word.
There's the really kind of selfish part of me says I don't like it because it makes me feel like an incredibly terrible person. Because when I make the connections that I do, there's a room full of people that say, "Who is the sick fuck that made this connection?" And I'm like, "Hi," and they're like, "Sarah," and I'm like, "What? This isn't a game about fluffy kittens."
So wait, but you're saying that you don't like it because people shame you when you're playing it.
That's not like the main reason why I dislike it. It just
I would venture to say if that's an issue, you're probably playing with the wrong people. It's supposed to be a shameless experience. I think you shouldn't feel shamed by the people you're playing with.
Well, true, and I mean to a point. I will say this for it. It does offer, and this is probably the only positive thing I'll say about this game. It does offer a really nice, safe atmosphere to get out those really terrible thoughts you have in your head. I mean, I'm a big, firm believer of the Avenue Q song, "Everyone's a Little Bit Racist."
Also a product of white males.
So,
Okay.
right, but it's a truth. Everybody has their biases, and some of those can be, qualified as racism, bigotry, whatever. It just fucking happens. It's the way people are built. But this kind of allows this is the place and time where it's okay, quote unquote.
Yeah, it's a safe.
do it.
It's a safe zone, right?
Right. I mean, there
supposed to
is
be.
that. So, yeah. But that's about the only positive thing I have to say about it.
Ryan, did you want to kind of go? I know you said you had a bunch of kind of things like how this game came about and everything like that. Maybe we could lay that out first and then delve that way. Maybe.
So
Just 'cause-
exploring the whole white male or white privilege thing, it was created by I believe a bunch of high school students, all males. I don't know if they were all white or not, but they were all male.
Majority, apparently.
The vast majority, right? And it was originally designed to be a New Year's game that they were all going to play. And what it was, the original version of it was they had the questions, but they didn't have the answer cards. You would actually write in your answer.
Oh.
And what they found was most people went for the shocking or the crazy or the non sequiturs. And that's how the answer cards came about. Now, the original version of the game was called Hypotheticals, which I love that name. and that's what you have to look at these answer and question combos as. They're hypothetical situations that make everybody laugh, and yes, they could be a little bit shocking or a little crude, but they are hypothetical, and it is a way for, like you said, to kind of vent some of that out. I wish they would have kept that title. I love the idea
That is a pretty awesome
of
title.
hypotheticals. That is fantastic.
I come at this from a different point of view. I look at Cards Against Humanity, and I see a signpost on the ragged edge of our neoliberal culture. It thrives on taking two core liberal democratic market-based values and putting them in direct conflict with one another. One value obviously being free speech, the other being multiculturalism to some degree, in that in a multicultural society, in order for us not to all kill each other, we have to be nice to each other. And this game goes out of its way to say, you're not going to be nice.
Hey, you can kill someone with kindness.
So, I think that...
Only in the retail sense.
So I think that is where a lot of the game's tension comes from. And to some degree, it also, points out some of the contradictions that currently exist in our culture. I wwon't pull out Slovenian philosopher Slavoj Žižek yet. I'll let some other people talk first.
Dear.
Then he's coming
man.
out. Žižek's coming out of the back.
Ben goes right for the throat.
Oh, man.
Man, I thought it was bad that I was just like, fuck this, fuck that. No.
That's funny because I'm listening to everybody and everybody really goes like, theoretical in this and really delves into it. I look at it and I'm like, okay, my only problem with the game is really a mechanical thing because really okay, and it's the same problem I have with any game that works like an apples to apples game where you have other people judging your stuff, is that you have absolutely no leverage to try and get your card chosen other than come on, eh? Because that's really how it goes. Is it's all down to that one person. That one person looks at the cards and they say, okay, is this funny to me or is this not funny to me? And there's no other real leverage you can play other than come on.
I think there's some strategy involved though, because you've got to know your audience, right? You've got to know who you're playing with.
You do.
It
Yes.
helps.
True.
I've played with strangers. I've played with friends. I've played with coworkers, and I wouldn't recommend that
God.
one.
You haven't been fighting.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh,
It hasn't gotten fully through the whole HR process yet, but it's on its way. And I've played with people, and you've just got to know your audience, right? Because I've won rounds with being witty and clever. I've won rounds being just silly and absurd.
True.
And I've won with very, very shocking combinations. You have to know that person, and that person switches, each round. So you gotta. The good player knows how to play to each one of those people at the table.
Yeah.
I recently won a round where the black card was, I don't care what you say, blank is not a crime. And I won that with a black male in his early 20s last seen wearing a hoodie.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like,
God,
something that's relevant and
yeah,
close.
perfectly
And
relevant,
That's
that's,
the thing that drives me nuts about this game is every now and then it has incredibly poignant and incredibly, yes, moments, but it's so rare that you don't get a dick joke out of it.
you
That
got to
it's
dig
just,
through some dicks to find the good gold nugget there.
but
but so that's the initial that's the initial thought process, the chess in your head.
It really
But once it's on the table, all you do is come on.
you want to pick that one.
Okay, so in that case, if you have the card, it's a black male wearing a hoodie and 20. It's that one, and then it's versus two midgets shitting in a bucket is not a crime. So then, how do you choose between the two of them? There's no one that's better than the other. It's other than come on. That's really all it is.
Bad mechanics aren't a crime.
No,
The reason it's
of
so
course not.
popular is-
Hey,
that's
that was
not a
not one of the
red
answers.
card.
That's just my personal thought.
Yeah,
That's personal.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going to say you're wrong because I don't like apples to apples. I don't much care for Cards Against Humanity,
Mhm.
mostly because of
How are we
that
friends?
mechanic thing. But clearly people still enjoy it.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I enjoy playing occasionally. I just couldn't. I've seen people play this game for hours, and I'm just
oh
like,
my
come on,
God,
no, I can't.
yes.
I just did the other night at a bar,
do that.
and
What
we
bar
started
was
out with that was the 42 Lounge
Oh, wow.
in Milwaukee.
Which they're awesome, super
Which,
nerd safe.
oh man,
A
the
nerd bar,
best.
it's great.
And we played. I think we started out with maybe 3 or 4 people, just a couple friends, and then strangers kind of wandered over, and we were like, "Yeah, join in, come be awful with us for a little while."
I actually like watching it better than I like playing it because I like seeing all the other answers come out, and
Oh,
that's
sure.
kind of fun.
Oh sure.
See, I like just walking by and yelling something ridiculous
True.
and walking away. I just enjoy completely screwing with the people who are playing.
Yeah.
So here's my question: is anyone here saying that people should not play this game because of the morally and ethically questionable things that could be said?
I'm going to say
during the
yes.
game.
Honestly, I don't think I think it encourages a mindset of not necessarily white privilege, because God knows racism is not just a white thing, or just bigotry in general. I just think it encourages we can be terrible people, but we have to do it in small groups and nobody else can know about it. And I just don't think psychologically, that's not a healthy behavior. It's like I know I have biases, but I don't think it's healthy in a society-wise. It's like everybody has a problem, but they just don't talk about it, and that's not good.
But isn't this talking about it?
Well, right now it is. It doesn't.
No, but when you play Cards Against Humanity, isn't that to some degree talking
Yeah,
about?
No,
you never talk about it though.
You never talk about it while you're playing a game.
You just go, oh.
You're like, oh my God,
yeah,
it's terrible. Ha 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 ha.
it's terrible.
Oh, you
And
made
then
a
you
dick
go
joke.
on. You don't ever.
Yeah, there's just
You don't ever hit a discourse in racism because someone played the card about a 20-something-year-old male. You just go on to the next card and say,
But,
okay, cool.
but in the article, it specifically says that during playtesting, people have cried, and they view that as a success. So clearly, some of the things that are going on when you play the game is deeper than just a ha ha ha.
Oh yeah,
it is totally. I get
I've never seen it,
furious,
but
furious whenever I see the pedophile cards played, because there's a whole gambit of them, and I can't stand it. Or like when the ones that, because there's ones that refer to sexual assault, aren't there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bunch.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that fuck those cards. Like, fuck this game.
They actually took
It
some of those
encourages-
cards out.
I don't really give a shit. The fact that they fucking existed in the first place is fucking bullshit. Like, I'm gonna stop. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
I'm really.
I
worked
suppose
up about
you're
this.
going along the idea of the trigger warning. Type.
Well, not even
trigger-
that. Like,
trigger
it's
word.
just this shit. These are the kind of things that psychologically damage people for the rest of their goddamn lives, and they're
But
just making
studies
it
show
a
the
fucking
opposite.
game.
Like, the incidence of pornography in a culture decreasing sex crimes.
Is it a decent?
I think that's different than joking about rape.
See, I fall more on the side of South Park and George Carlin. There's nothing sacred. You can make fun of anything.
So
That's
you diametrically disagree with Sarah.
pretty much, yeah. I think in the right context, you could joke about everything. I think George Carlin was famously quoted for saying, "You can make fun of anything, even rape." Like, think about this: Daffy Duck raping Minnie Mouse. Haha, that's funny. It's just like he threw that out there. It's just so weird. The context is really what makes
I wish
it.
I had eyelashes right now.
I'm just saying that's what Carlin said. He's
No,
saying
and I
that-
understand that. But Carlin's a fucking comedian.
Exactly. Now that's the second point I have against the game, is that everybody tries to be a comedian, and not very many people are. So that's actually my biggest problem with the game, is that people try to be funny with the game, and either their jokes do not make sense, or they're completely tone deaf to what they could be.
Or they're immature and lol butts.
Exactly.
I don't.
So that's my other problem with the game, is that everybody tries to be a comedian, and there's very few people that are comedians.
And this brings me to Slavoj Žižek.
Oh, yes.
fuck.
I knew it. You're welcome. You're welcome. Here's the alley-oop for you, right?
So Slavoj Žižek, actually a Slovenian philosopher, has a lot to say on this subject, because, again, the core values at play here are, to some degree, well, there's things you just shouldn't say because it's not nice, and then the other value at play is freedom of speech, and, I don't want to have my speech policed. And he would say that the core issue here is the death of common decency. And that we have killed common decency in the name of personal freedom. I've paraphrased a quote of his here to make it a bit more comprehensible, because Slovenian is his first language.
I was going to say, is it also translated as well, too?
No, he writes in English.
Oh, very cool.
So this is what Slavoj Žižek has to say on this matter. Quote, paraphrased, but quoting. We have separated legal justice from moral goodness. Without a social grounding of common decency, decency having been ejected for treading on personal freedom, the laws have become minimal and intended to only keep individuals from encroaching upon one another. What we think of as a slight code of laws in favor of personal freedom leads to an explosion of moral rules, known as the fight against all forms of discrimination. If there are no shared values in place to influence the law, only the basic fact of subjects harassing other subjects, then we have this explosion of rules, because who can decide what harassment is? And then he gives one example, which is in France, there are associations for obese people demanding that all public campaigns against obesity be stopped, since they damage the self-esteem of obese people.
The reason why I asked if it was in Slovenian or if it was in English is because I was worried something was going to be lost in translation.
Pretty damn eloquent.
Wow. I think there was nothing lost in translation, but that was really dense.
So that last piece is something I have, like a fundamental, my soul screams out against the fact that it's called self-esteem for a reason. And I understand that there are people that have medical conditions or they're diagnosed that have trouble with that concept, but most people don't. And I feel in society, it is, you can be offended, but that's up to you. You decide whether or not you're being, something is going to be offensive to you. And you're the one who decides your own self-esteem and how you handle that, and you can continue to be a victim of being offended by everything, or you can flip the switch of accountability to yourself and go, you know what? I'm not going to let this get to me. I'm not going to let somebody else dictate my personal feelings, my personal self-esteem.
You could, but the person offending you is only doing it because they have this a level of personal liberty which allows them
to do it. Oh, okay. How do you prevent that?
Here. Well, there's an axis between liberty on one side in this case and just offending each other on the other. And again, I guess common decency is on one side and liberty and offensiveness is on the other side.
But I think what you're trying to say, Ryan, is that you take the onus on yourself to defang the thing that's trying to hurt you.
Yeah, exactly. And we have a responsibility to do that for ourselves, for our own well-being and our own health.
Right.
And it's hard for some people, or many people, to do that. But that is what we should focus on, rather than just taking that away, because now you're, I don't know, not weakening or watering it down, but...
I have something to say about that outrage too, but Sarah, you've been waiting.
Oh, no, I really, that's a very good point. Like, I'm kind of a big believer of, oh, this sucks. Well, then do something about it.
Absolutely.
Like, make a proactive effort about it. Like, and don't necessarily take what you're doing and force it on other people. Like, I'm not going to think you're a terrible person because you like Cards Against Humanity. I don't think it should be a game that is as popular as it is. I know why it's as popular as it is, but I still don't friggin' like it.
Sure.
I mean, and that's okay. Like, that's fine. It's just something that happens. I'm not going to tell people that they should play it. But at the same time, I just refuse. I don't let myself be bothered by it because I don't seek it out. I mean, like...
It's avoidable, right?
Right, it's very avoidable. And it just, what you said.
I think also to maybe add more to my point of, like, that nothing is sacred, you should be able to make fun of everything, is that I think it falls along the lines of what you're saying, Ryan, is that it defangs things. Like, I really like dark, sardonic humor. It's nice because it not only does it defang it kind of helps you accept it. It's like, yeah, things suck.
It's a coping mechanism.
Exactly. Yes, things suck. Let me make a dark joke about it, and away we go. Like,
yeah, I concur with you.
A perfect example. Yes. I think we mentioned it before. I have kidney failure. My kidneys don't work. I have to plug into a damn machine every night, and that sustains my life. Awesome. Cool. It doesn't, and that sucks. It's a terrible situation, and I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, man, I would never want to have that. Well, yeah, it sucks, but, you know, at least I'm still alive, and the best part is I can make terrible jokes at, like, seeing people without helmets driving their motorcycles and looking at them and going, soon.
Yeah.
See? Funny. Awesome story. Makes kidney failure hilariously great.
So one of the answer cards, I was flipping through some last night on this exact topic of, you know, this dark humor, and there was a card in there that was a cooler full of organs, and my immediate response was, oh, I better not bring that example tomorrow because of Brad. But then again, he would probably find it freaking hilarious.
If you find it funny, you fagged it.
Exactly.
It makes it less scary. I mean, when the first time we went grocery shopping and we bought kidney beans, I thought I was in my pants from laughing so hard.
Or,
I mean, it just was like, maybe we can use these. And yeah.
Or when we were in the emergency room and your sister was having her ankle worked on because she rolled it, and the nurse comes in and says, oh, I'm sorry, we have 2 gunshot wounds in a motorcycle accident that just came in, so we're a little busy. And I went, dibs, and the nurse went, what? And then I explained it to her, and she died laughing.
I'm right here, just open me up.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm already here.
Look,
I am prepped for surgery.
I
shaved. I am ready.
Go around with a Sharpie just marking people with X's, like, cut here.
See, look, dark humor has just defanged a terrible disease. Congratulations.
Humor 1, disease 0.
Humor 1, that's right.
Well, so that is the one good thing about Cards Against Humanity.
At the same time, they can't go too far.
Oh yeah, see, exactly, true.
Absolutely.
But you gotta sense that line.
Yeah.
You know, one of their taglines in the Kickstarter that they did back in the day was, this Cards Against Humanity is as despicable and awkward as you and your friends. It's totally self-policing. It's totally up to the people playing the game to do that. If you own the cards, who can stop you from removing the cards that you take most exception with? Then we get into censorship, right? It comes right back to what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Well, and when you were talking about how people need to essentially just not be offended to the awful things that other people say, I think that ties into some peculiarly American things. Specifically, like, the level of outrage that will come up when somebody is seen as misspeaking. I think that comes from the fact that, we're supposed to be living on the city on the hill, the New Jerusalem, the greatest country on earth, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when you look out the window every day, that's not what you see. We know things are not as they were promised. And when we think about that, we assume, well, if we're the best country on earth, but things aren't right. Clearly, there is a virus in the body politic that must be rooted out. And that's why we turn like wolves on people who buck political correctness. In Salem, it was the people who were different that got called witch and hung.
At the same time, sorry to interrupt, but at the same time, we also the soundbite society that we live in tends to take what we want to be offended about out of a sentence instead of taking the entire context of what it is.
People nowadays, especially with social justice warriors, SJW, if I can even broach that crazy ass can of worms.
My initial, SJ. SJ babe.
So Sarah Jane Warriors?
Yeah, I like to think that.
It's, it becomes so much easier to have a Salem because of social media. It's immediate, it's mob inciting, let's get some pitchforks and torches and go after somebody.
Buzzwords.
They said,
Totally.
What? All right, let's rain down upon them with great fury and vengeance,
I think,
furious anger those who would threaten.
They have said this one thing, so obviously that is how they think about everything. A perfect example is the guy that had the like comic book babe shirt for the NASA.
Oh,
and everybody's like, oh my god, he wore that
what
shirt,
so
he believes that about every single woman.
Yeah.
And it's like,
there is an excellent line on an Annie DeFranco song on her album Little Plastic Castle. She says, oh gosh, I can't remember what the exact lyric is, but it's basically, what I happen to be wearing the day someone takes a picture is suddenly my statement for all of womankind.
Wow.
And this was from like 96. Like, she nails it on the head. Like, our society does that so much. And that's not to say that some people are dicks. Like, people are.
So maybe the Cards Against Humanity is the welcome break from that. Maybe that's why it's so popular, is people say, okay, cool, we can play this game and not be judged, and we can say things that people can't won't just straw dog assume that that is all of us. That encapsulates everything we say.
Well, and to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying to maybe something like closure, people saying offensive things in jest in the privacy of their own homes should not trouble our souls. Is that fair to say?
That's
good
absolutely
call.
fair to say.
Good call.
Absolutely.
High five.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that our final judgment on this?
I wrote that down as hypothesis. I know. Because again, for what at first I thought might be a slight topic, once I started thinking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, Cards Against Humanity is deep.
There's a lot to it.
There's a lot that can be said about it. I personally just think it's a stupid fucking game.
I also find the meta around it. I mean, I use the word meta. But I do find that hilarious because they do stuff like for Black Friday when prices are supposed to be slashed, they brought the price up by $5 and sold
They're anti-sale.
Even more cards sold because people kind of get it. They're using Cards Against Humanity to buck the system.
They're taking advantage of the people who know about the game's existence, who are trying to be just nice fucking people and buying people that they know that game, and they don't know what the hell the price of it is, so they decided to be assholes and raise it up $5, so Billy's little grandma over here ends up getting ripped off buying this fucking
thing.
But
they advertise it
I have definite opinions.
Not necessarily.
Sorry.
They advertise it as an anti-sale. We are raising our prices. What about the bullshit?
I was going to get to that, but I'm going to address the fact that Billy's little grandma was going to buy that card. I don't think Billy's little grandma was going to buy that card.
If it's on
and here's here's the other thing too, is that the reason why they raise their prices is because what happens when Cards Humanity gets printed, there are people that will go buy multiple copies, hundreds of copies, and then they will scalp them on Amazon for even more. So the anti-sale
True.
is to screw those people over. It's not Billy's little grandma that's going in there and buying one thing for an extra $5. They're not taking advantage of those people. They're screwing over the people that are like trying to scalp them. Literally.
I still think it's
Every single time the game is printed, that's what happens.
But
I
what
still
about
think-
their philanthropic efforts that they've done?
They've
So
also
they've
given away
released,
some money too.
like
they've released a couple of holiday expansions on the game, which they took the proceeds from, and let's see here, they gave, I think it was
$100,000 to Wikipedia, I want to say.
70,000 to
70,000.
Wikimedia. Yeah, it's the one that supports all the wikis.
Mhm.
And they also gave $100,000 to Donors Choose, which typically goes to public school projects to fund those things directly. So there's
I think that kind of balances out
sides.
the incredibly terrible accusations that were pointed towards one of the creators.
okay. So
Hardly.
so that's it's a personal indictment, not necessarily an
Right,
indictment on
but
the
I
game.
think it's all personal. It's all about it. Like I just
Oh, and then we also mentioned the bullshit expansion, which literally they sold literal bullshit, like 100% absolute real bullshit. And the funny thing is that I think they took all that money and they donated it. You know, they've said, okay, if people really want to buy this expansion, we're not taking advantage of you. We're telling you 100%. This is literal bullshit.
Yeah.
Do not buy it.
but
And
would
people
they-
bought it
would they-
anyways.
Would they do that?
30,000 people bought it.
And
in
it
fact.
sold out. It sold out in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was
Would
like
they,
super
would they
quick.
still do that if it was a controversial game? That's what I want to know.
That's the problem.
Is this just a complete reaction to the
No,
fact that people,
it's
some people
them,
like me, and like fuck that
Is
game?
that being funny?
it's them being funny partly with the meta. It's also them saying, really? Is this what we've de-evolved into as humanity? Is
People-
that
you will buy
literally
this?
buy bullshit?
Yeah. It was sterilized. It
Okay.
was sterilized bull feces.
And it was
It's
dry.
still bullshit.
It was dry. You could burn it, I guess.
Yeah, you can burn it.
But that's the thing is that
Keeps flies away.
they're trying to point things out here, saying, "Do you guys are we such a consumer society that we literally buy shit?"
Yeah.
And the question that was
30,000
answered
people
was
did.
yes,
Absolutely.
unequivocally yes. we have stooped to that part of humanity, or we stooped to that low in humanity that we literally buy shit.
And high five to the game for playing to the lowest common denominator.
Exactly, pointing out that.
Hey, it says right on the box, a party game for horrible people.
So that I find
I
find that
just
interesting.
do not like this game.
that
It does seem to trouble your soul.
No, I seriously,
You-
I'm not offended. I'm fucking pissed off about this game.
Why?
Because it's unoriginal. It doesn't. Making dick jokes and anti-Semitic mecha Nazi Hitler things, comments, is not creative. It's not clever. It's just fucking mean.
Mecha Nazi Hitler was also in Wolfenstein 3D, which is probably one of the best shooting games ever.
I think we've come full circle.
I think we have.
So,
Yeah.
with that, I'm Ben Riggs.
I'm Brad Davies.
I'm Sarah Babe.
And I'm Ryan Smith.
So, thank you very much, and please go give us a review on iTunes if you haven't. Like us on Facebook if you haven't. Go and listen to Ken and Robin talk about stuff because we have an advertisement running on there, and they're doing a great job with their podcast.
And
as
they're
well.
nice guys.
And they're delightful.
Totally
human
cool
They're
beings.
people.
wonderful people.
One of them's Canadian, one of them's from Chicago. Well, I like both those places. They both have wonderful hockey teams.
Also, and if you guys want to chime in on the conversation, please do. Plotpointsemail@gmail.com. We will answer. Len knows this. What's up, Len?
Now go home and examine your souls, you dirty
Oh,
bastards.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Examine them souls.
Okay.
Two midgets.
Yeah, Chris.
Okay.